Zillow predicts home prices will decline, but not by very much. We're going to talk about how much they're talking about here. Homelessness surges as the homeless people now enter subways, airports, hotels, and homelessness is likely to surge by 45%. There's a new study that projects that. The newly jobless since the shutdown rises to 36 million. This is an absolute disaster. I wish I had better news for you, but let's go ahead and get it started in today's report. Today's episode is sponsored by Boxable Homes. These are high-quality, sturdy homes that can be even hauled using a pickup truck. Boxable Homes fit a lot of luxury in a small, inexpensive, energy-efficient space. These homes are factory-built in the USA and can be shipped to all 50 states and internationally. These homes come fully loaded with wiring, heating, cooling, plumbing, and appliances. Have some extra space in your yard? These will make excellent supplemental income properties, granny flats, or guest homes. These homes are built tough and can withstand fire and weather disasters. Save $100 off your new Boxable home today by clicking the link below. Let's start right here out of CNBC. Newly unemployed people since the shutdown. We're talking only about 7 weeks now since we saw most of the country shut down. 36.5 million new filings. Now we know that this is actually a lot higher when you look at people that weren't able to file. And we talked about this a few reports ago. We're talking over 50 million. It's probably closer to 55 million. No one has an exact count, but we do know there's a lot of people locked out of the unemployment program. They cannot file. A lot of people not counted in the statistics. A lot of gig economy workers not able to qualify for unemployment. And it's a huge mess, and we know it's much worse than it's being reported. And even though now we're starting to see some parts of the country slowly reopening, we're still seeing these massive unemployment filings. Now, quick look at a chart here. The new filings are declining, so you could say it's getting better. Or the real phrase to use would be it's getting less worse. I mean, it's not getting better. There's still more people filing. And the number is continually growing, but if you want to put a positive spin on it, you could say, I guess it's less worse now from week to week. And the mask has come off of this fake economy. Remember, and we go back a couple years on this channel, how we've reported on many occasions how most Americans are not doing that well financially. Most people are under some sort of debt, and a lot of times it's debt with very high interest rate. Credit card debt is massive, beyond what we saw in the 2008 financial crisis before that came crashing down. But yet we were sold, many of us were sold, a lot of us didn't believe it, but many people, many Americans were sold on the theory or the more of a fairy tale that the U.S. economy was the best it's ever been. They talked about the 3.5% unemployment number, the wage increases, right? All the new jobs that were supposed to come back from overseas, the manufacturing was supposed to come back. And we really didn't see much of that at all. We still were a service sector economy before this shutdown took place. And this whole thing, this whole shutdown really took a lot of people by surprise and hopefully woke a lot of people up as to how ill-prepared the nation really is. Now, if you've been on this channel, the evidence was everywhere, and we've been talking about it for a while. Another statistic that came out a long time ago, many years ago, was the fact that most Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency expense without going into debt, without putting it on a credit card. So we knew that when job losses happen, regardless of if it was because of a virus or some other factor, we knew that we were going to see lots of pain and a lot of people not able to make ends meet very quickly. And here we are 7 weeks in. We see a new report out saying homelessness is likely to surge. Let's go to that report. Article out of KTLA.com, mass unemployment due to the virus could lead to a 45% jump in U.S. homelessness. Now, if you've been on this channel again, you knew this. This is not a surprise. And just a little timeline on this. Going back to 2008, we saw millions of people lose their homes. A lot of homeowners that took out big loans lost their homes, and they ended up becoming renters a short time later. And a lot of the financial institutions that came in and bought the homes, the big investors, the big money, well, over the last 10 years, they've been raising rents pretty dramatically. And this really put a squeeze on a lot of people. And that was one of the many factors that are leading people to be so cash crunched and to lead so many people into living paycheck to paycheck. So it's also no surprise now that there's job losses that we're going to see a massive spike in homelessness. And we talked about that just a few reports ago, but there's some other situations that have come up. We see homeless now overflowing into subway stations, into hotels, empty hotels, many sleeping in an airport. Let's talk about a few reports here. Report here, this is Inquirer.com. 150 homeless people camped out at Philadelphia airport will be relocated. So the solution is just to relocate these people, get them out of sight. There's not many real solutions being discussed here. And just the fact that home prices were pumped up so high with this real estate bubble 2.0 that we're in right now, that's a huge part of it. Now, many people will argue and they'll say, well, all these homeless people, they're all just crazy, they're all addicts. That is not true. There was a report that we did here in San Diego where we've designated parking lots here in San Diego County for people that were employed. They had a job, but they still couldn't afford a place to live. So these people were sleeping in their cars, and they had to set up some lots where there were some tents with a microwave oven and some chairs. And it was kind of like a communal living parking lot. They had a security guard. So this is not just a crazy or addict problem. Yes, a lot of people do have addiction problems. But maybe a lot of these people that were homeless, maybe they don't have much else to do, and maybe they're drinking their blues away. Maybe they weren't addicts until they became homeless, and a lot of them at that time, a lot of them decided to go ahead and start drinking or whatever their addiction is, to try to cope with the sad reality of being homeless, you know. Another report right here, this is out of New York Post. Homeless sleep inches apart on shelter stairs after subway clearings. So a lot of these homeless people were sleeping on the subway, and once they kicked them out of the subway, they cleared out the subways, these people didn't have any place to go. The homeless shelters were full, and you see all these people now on the stairways of the shelters. Pretty sad, right? And this is the United States of America, supposedly the richest country in the world. How many times did you hear that? Oh, we're the world's richest nation. But that's not true. We are the world's largest debtor nation, which gives the appearance that we're rich. And a lot of us, even though a lot of us are broke, still appear to live a good lifestyle because we can go out and get loans for new cars and homes. But a few missed paychecks, and this is what it turns into: homeless nation. All right, will it spike by 45%? Well, the study says that if this lockdown continues, yes, it will spike and could go higher than 45%, sadly. Now, there was a video going around. I guess it went kind of viral. It had a lot of views. This guy went to each subway car, I believe it was New York City, and filmed homeless people in every subway car. Sometimes it was 2, 3, 4, 5 people in a car. And this was an epidemic in New York City for quite a while until the recent cleanout happened. And just think, many of these people, maybe a few of them had a job just a few weeks ago, and this is where they ended up. I mean, do any of us really have a plan B or a backup plan in case we lose our job and we can't pay our rent or can't pay our mortgage? Or maybe you can pay your mortgage, but you can't pay your property taxes, or something else causes you to get foreclosed. Here's a report here. This is Los Angeles, CBSLocal.com. City opens downtown hotel to temporarily house homeless as part of Project Room Key. Now, this is definitely just temporary because right now these hotels are empty because no one's traveling, of course. Everything's shut down. Why are there no long-term solutions? Now, isn't it interesting that when it comes to supporting the banks, propping up the financial system, and we'll go back a few weeks here on this article, the Federal Reserve vows unlimited stimulus to halt coronavirus recession. But when it comes to housing people that are homeless, you start hearing things like, oh, who's going to pay for it? Oh, we can't afford it. So just look at the type of system that's being propped up here. And they're trying to stop home prices from deflating in the name of, quote unquote, helping these homeowners. But it's the high cost of living, high home prices that got us into this mess in the first place as far as the housing situation. Right? There's also many other factors. It's the high cost of living in general. It's the debt. All right? So how can we have unlimited stimulus, but yet a homeless problem that's about to get a lot worse in, quote unquote, the richest country in the world? Right? So it's obvious that none of these people that are running things right now really want to help people. It's all about their agenda, and it's just pretty sad. So let's talk about this $2,000 per person stimulus. It is still in the works, so to speak. It's likely to get shot down by the Senate. So some people say, well, why even talk about it? It's not going to pass. Well, think about it. Why would they not pass this? Again, they have unlimited funds available to support the financial system, to support the banks, but yet $2,000 a month per person is off the table because we can't afford it, is what they say. Now, some people that I've read in comments have been saying that I'm against this $2,000 a month payout. I'm not against it. I'd rather see the people get it than the banks and the corporations. My point is that this is not a solution. Giving people $2,000 a month is not going to fix the underlying problem. We have to look at the overall systemic problems that we have with this system, with this financial system, with this fiat currency, with this Federal Reserve debt note, right? Hardly anyone that I see is talking about the big picture. They're all talking about little things. Oh, give me $2,000 a month and that'll fix it. Yes, I'd rather see you and I get $2,000 a month instead of these corporations that are already ran by billionaires. Absolutely, but it's not going to fix the problem. It's going to be another Band-Aid on a bullet hole, basically. All right, still on the topic of the high cost of living and the high home prices, Zillow is forecasting home prices to drop by up to 3%. So they say up to. That tells you that they think that 3% is the maximum, up to 3%. So 3% worst case scenario. Sales are going to drop by 60%, though. That's a big number. Now, of course, Zillow, they're in the business of real estate, of course. They're not going to come out and put that much fear into the public. They're not going to say home prices are going to drop by 30, 40, 50%, even though home prices may just do that, right? You're not going to get that real of a price prediction out of in this case, a company or even a person. A realtor is not going to go out and tell you that there's going to be a 50% correction in home prices, obviously. That is the realtor's job. It's his living. Don't expect any real estate investment company, Zillow, any realtor, anyone that their lifestyle depends on home sales to give that kind of prediction. If they did predict that, everyone that read that prediction would pull back from trying to purchase a home and go ahead and wait for the home price correction to hit. Now, isn't it interesting that even though we have unemployment beyond Great Depression levels right now, we can't even get Zillow to predict that home prices may drop more than 3%. And Zillow is going to be wrong here. I predict we're going to see home prices drop a lot more than 3%. I'm not sure how soon because we have a lot of intervention happening right now with the forbearance. And who knows, maybe a new round of stimulus checks can get some of these homeowners by for a little while. My fear is, though, that the people that do lose their homes are going to end up at the airport, on the subway, sleeping on a bench or on a shelter, and that corporations and financial institutions and investment houses are going to come in and buy these homes when home prices do finally correct. If you like what we talk about, please smash that like button and subscribe and come back for more. Also, please share this information, not just my videos. Maybe don't share my videos. Maybe just talk to your friends and family and relatives about this financial system, about the unlimited funds that are available for the bank bailouts, but not available for the working class, the people that really need it, and how every one of these people that are running this country right now are so-called leaders. All of them need to be fired. But it's not going to happen. You know why? Because they've got everybody divided. They've got this party over here on the left, you got that party over there on the right, and they're all pointing the finger at each other. It is divide and conquer. No one is looking up top at who's actually running this entire system, this entire scam. And the American people, well, if we're not going to wake up, I guess we deserve it. That's what it is. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye for now.